welcome to my review of the Kodak CFH-V15 video monitor. It's a security camera that is cloud-based and uses Wi-Fi only with a 720p sensor, two-way communication, night vision, and a couple of other features. Out of the box, the camera comes with the basics, just a power adapter and a wall mounting plate, as well as an instruction booklet, etc. In terms of quality, in build quality, the camera's made of pretty decent plastics, not the greatest, but definitely not the worst. And in terms of optical clarity or camera quality, it's perfectly acceptable. You're definitely not going to be able to make out like wrinkles or something, but you're going to be able to make out faces and exactly what's happening. I would compare this to an iPhone 4S or a 4, probably closer to a 4 in terms of quality. It is 720p and I think the maximum frame rate is 25 FPS that it'll film at. It's definitely not bad at all though, and it has pan and tilt features which let you look around while viewing, although they are a little bit limited, especially in terms of tilt, and I found that when it was placed on a mantle or even a table, you weren't able to see the floor pretty close to it, which I think is a bit of an issue considering, you know, this type of indoor security camera would be the type that I would at least put on a mantle, and I felt that, you know, that was a bit of a shortcoming, that the tilt is so limited. Another quirk I noticed was that when the night vision is in automatic mode, it'll like during the day go into night mode randomly and without reason really. And another thing I noticed is that the white balance sometimes is very slow to adjust or doesn't adjust properly at all. For example, I can take this keyboard, and as you can see, the white balance just makes it out as a white block at first, and even then you still can't really see all the detail, especially if it's far away. That wasn't a big issue, but you know, again, it's a security camera and those are the types of things that it should be optimized for. And the only other thing in terms of hardware that I didn't like is the fact that the only I/O in this camera is the power port. There's no Ethernet port or, you know, USB port to plug in some sort of external storage or even an SD card. So if this is not connected to the internet, you're not going to be able to see what happened, which in my opinion is a bit of an issue. And there's no way to make it, you know, save to a NAS or, again, external storage, which means that you're forced into using Kodak's web services, which, you know, they can cost a bit of money, and again, it's annoying that you have to use their web services and you can't keep your stuff on your local network. But my biggest peeve with this camera definitely is the app. It's not acting up now, but usually I'll have issues finding cameras or even just you know, tilting. It'll get stuck on a frame, it'll stop responding. Sometimes the camera, you know, again will switch into night mode randomly. If I change settings, sometimes they won't save. And I just noticed that this app in particular had a couple of bugs that, you know, they're really inexcusable for this product, especially coming from a name like Kodak. I would have expected them to at least put a little bit of time into their app. And it wasn't only on iOS. I noticed this on my HTC M8 and also even just using the web app. I also noticed this issue on an iPhone 5S. And it's not as if, you know, I'm using the oldest phone on earth. This is a 6S Plus, pretty much brand new, running the latest software. So I shouldn't be seeing these bugs, and definitely not as often as I had seen them once I wasn't even able to click into the camera for 30 minutes because it kept saying, you know, it wasn't connected, or it would just keep spinning right here on this screen, which, you know, it's just a disappointing thing, and it really means you can't use the camera. And, you know, I don't know if it's still recording or not when this occurs, which for a security camera, again, the biggest and most important thing is reliability. Again, with the software, it also, you know, it has basic notifications for motion, but these smart notifications are at $3 per month, and storing anything on Kodak's web services is only 1 day, unless you're going to pay $10 a month for 14 days or $20 per month for 30 days. And that's, I think, only for motion events, which, you know, can add up to a lot of money. And especially in combination with the fact that that's your only option with this camera, you can't attach it to a NAS or local storage, is, again, you know, a bit of a problem. This isn't to say that it doesn't have its good moments, but the software really is a bit lackluster. It does have an interesting two-way communication function, and although the speaker sounds like a tin can and the microphone sounds like it's 10 years old, it works well enough, and it's a nice feature, especially if you're going to use this as a baby monitor type device or something. There's also stuff like sharing, to share the camera with friends or family, which can be useful, so you don't have to give them your account login. And the streaming is pretty real time when it works. And the free yet limited, you know, notification services and storage services, they do work well. I didn't have any problems with them, other than the fact that sometimes I couldn't access them. And this camera also has an interesting Wi-Fi extender or repeater function, but I don't think that this is, you know, something that's really should make, or I don't find this feature is very useful, especially considering it's a security camera first, and there's some other areas that they needed to polish. So it's actually a bit disappointing to know that some effort was put into making it a repeater, but not into making sure the app works consistently. In the end, this camera really is a bit of a victim of a poorly made app. The camera on its own is solid with distinctive features for the price bracket, especially in terms of this tilt and pan function. It takes pretty decent pictures, and the video is not too shabby, as long as it's not stuck in night mode or the white balance is not auto-adjusted correctly. I like this really as an all-in-one solution if you're lazy, or maybe for an apartment. But, you know, for an elaborate home security system for a larger home, I'd really advise doing, you know, something a little bit more custom that allows you to store stuff locally and on the cloud, because, you know, having something that's cloud only, Wi-Fi only, has a lot of risk, because, again, with no Ethernet, there's no way to have a reliable, you know, internet connection, because Wi-Fi can cut out, or, you know, the internet could cut out, and then you don't have that event saved, which can be an issue, especially, you know, again, it's a security camera, and security's first, and you don't want to have it that one time that it couldn't connect to the internet, or, you know, your Wi-Fi was out, but the burglar got in, and you now have no proof, taking the whole point away from this security camera. So I really see this more positioned as a home monitoring device, not really a security device. So maybe if you're trying to monitor your baby or your dog, I guess this could be useful. But for much more, I simply wouldn't recommend this product specifically. It's not a terrible product, but it really just isn't something I would recommend unless you're super lazy. Thanks for watching, and I hope I helped you make a decision.